Hello, folks. Welcome to Dark Side of the Kitchen, and I'm Noel Keane. Today, we're going to talk about kitchen ghosts, the mentors we carry, and the mistakes we repeat. Every kitchen has its ghosts. Some are the voices that guide us, the chef who showed us how to salt properly, who told you how to taste everything, who drilled into you that discipline and pride mattered more than speed. Others are the voices we never wanted to carry, the screaming, the insults, the cutting words that cut deeper than any knife. Then there are the silent ghosts, the absent chefs, who walked away, who couldn't take it anymore, whose jacket still hangs in a changing room long after they're gone. Kitchens are haunted places, haunted by tradition, haunted by loss, haunted by repetition. And every time we walk into the kitchen, we carry those with us, whether we know it or not. Today we face them head on, the mentors we carry, the mistakes we repeat, and the silence we inherit. Every chef remembers their first real mentor. Your first real mentor may have been your first chef, it may not. But you remember the one that changed it for you. It wasn't a cookbook or a TV show. Mightn't even have been the first chef who stood over the pass with you. The first chef who stood over you and looked at your plate and either nodded or destroyed you with a single word. A friend of mine who works in Dublin told me his first head chef barely spoke, but when he put his hand on your shoulder and said good job, it felt like winning a medal. He said, I still hear him when I plate. Keep it clean, keep it honest. Mentors live inside us. They shape how we chop, how we taste, how we carry ourselves into chaos. But that's not always a blessing. A good cook in Cork said, I swore I'd never be like him. He broke people down for sport, and yet 10 years later, I hear his words come out of my mouth during service. I became the ghost I hated. This is the double edge of mentorship. We inherit their greatness, and we carry their scars. Think of the rituals we carry. Tying your apron the way your mentor showed you, tasting stock before service, wiping the edge of every plate, small acts, but they're the ghosts too, living inside our heads and in our hands. And then there are the voices that push us forward long after the chef is gone. A pastry chef in Galway once told me, my mentor passed away years ago, but every time I temper chocolate, I still hear him whisper, patience, respect the process. He's still here. Mentor haunts us in the right way. They don't let us settle. They demand better, even in silence. The mistakes we repeat. But some of them ghosts don't push us, they trap us. The Irish Restaurant Association reported last year that 30% of chefs under 35 were looking at leaving the industry. Burnout, hours, pay, culture, same stories. Why is it the same story? Why hasn't it changed? Because kitchens are haunted by repetition. An older chef once told me, in my day it was worse. So if you survived it, so if I've survived it, you should too. That logic is poison. It chained us to the very ghost that nearly destroyed us. Young Commie in Limerick said at one stage to me, every chef's tell you I had it harder, so you should suck it up. But all that does is guarantee it'll stay the same for the next poor bastard who comes through the door. It never ends. This is the ghost at the heart of the industry. A belief that suffering is necessary, pain equals craft, exhaustion equals excellent. It doesn't. But when you believe it does, when we inherit shouting as a discipline, when we inherit 80-hour weeks as normal, we inherit silence about mental health as professionalism, the ghosts of repetition are the heaviest because they don't haunt us. They turn us into the haunting. And when you repeat the cycle, we make ourselves the very ghosts that will haunt the next generation. Absence, silence, and loss. Not all ghosts shout. Some are just empty chairs. Spoke to a chef in Kilkenny who said we had a commie who left mid-service, just threw down his apron and walked out the back door. None of us saw him again. Sometimes I still expect to see him at the prep, but he's gone. Not a ghost, not violent, not loud, just absent. There's also ghosts of kitchens themselves, shuttered after decades of work. Good friend of mine in Limerick, one day we were walking up the city and she was walking past her old restaurant. It's a cafe now, but she swears she can still smell the veal stock when she passes. The kitchen is still alive, she said. It's just invisible. Then there's the darker ghosts: addiction, collapse, burnout. I knew a chef many years ago who sliced his hand so badly during service he nearly lost 2 fingers. He came back the next day bandaged, shaking, was still on the line. When I asked him why, he said, because if I didn't, someone else would take my place. That's the ghost of fear. The ghost that says if you stop, you disappear. Sometimes the ghost is yourself, the younger version of you, wide-eyed, passionate. Walked in the first day, demanding the world. You see him in the mirror after an 80-hour week and you barely recognize him. That's haunting too. So what do we do with all these ghosts? Can't get rid of them entirely. Every chef carries them. We can't choose which ones to feed. The mentors who taught discipline, respect, craft, those are the ghosts worth keeping close. They'll guide your hands long after they're gone. The mistakes, the abuse, the endless repetition of pain, those are the ghosts we need to starve. Because if we don't, they'll outlive us. A chef in Dublin said to me, I used to think ghosts were what you left behind, but in kitchens, ghosts are what you pass on. You decide what haunts the next generation. That's the truth. Kitchen will always have its shadows, but we choose which ones to keep alive. So when you walk in tomorrow, ask yourself, whose voice are you carrying? And is this ghost worth passing on? Because kitchens don't just feed people, they feed the ghost. They feed the mentors we carry, the mistakes we repeat, and the choice is always ours. I think we've gotten a lot better from when I started to now. I think kitchens are far better places. And I think each generation gets it more and more close to where it should be. I don't believe that's my generation doing it. I just believe that as each generation comes into the industry, they do it with a level of expectation on the other side. And they bring better balance. And I don't think it's there yet, and I don't think it's right. But I do think it gets better all the time. You know, every kitchen has its ghosts. Some guide you, some will break you. All of them stay. We don't just inherit the recipes, we inherit the scars that built those recipes. The heaviest ghosts are the ones that whisper, this is the way it's always been. It's a line that needs to be broken and broken permanently. So we need to be very cognizant of this, of what we teach the next generation. Because what the last generation gave us was to be better than them. And our job is to make sure the next ones are better than us. And by that, I don't mean how you cook. Because I do think that's something that's gotten worse in time. I do believe a lot of the older ways around cooking were better. But the life wasn't. And the life is better now than the generations before me. That doesn't make it that it's good. You know, I remember years ago, one of the first kitchens I ever worked in where the head chef was both physically, mentally, and verbally abusive to everybody. And I swore I would never be him. And I came very close to being just him. And thankfully saw in myself that I was going down that road and very much went the other way. Not that I'm some fucking saint, I'm not. I've had goes at chefs in the kitchen and I've said some fucking nasty things to people. But I do try to be nice. I do try to mentor in the right way. Now, whether the way I'm doing it is right or not, that I can't answer you. You'd have to ask those that worked under me. Was it, you know? But I tried. And I think that's all you can do is feed the ghosts you believe in. Starve the ones you don't. And if you manage to get that right, any chance you'd let me know how the fuck you did it. I'm as bad as anybody, particularly, we'll say, for the workload and the amount of hours I put in. It's too fucking much. It also doesn't make you better at your job. Quite the opposite. If you're overly tired, overly stretched, overly stressed, you can't do your job to the best of your ability. And if you can't do it to the best of your ability, well, then you're leaving yourself down. You're leaving down your job. You're leaving down your team. You know, and it's one of those things. And not long after COVID, a guy I knew at the Closey's restaurant, and I remember ringing him and going, geez, you know, fuck, been there, I know what it's like. And when I asked him why, he said, I just can't do it anymore. It wasn't about that. It wasn't about inability. He just said, I just can't do it anymore. So he just decided to walk away from it. When I say walk away from it, he closed his restaurant and walked away from it and the industry. And that's 3-4 years ago now, 3 years ago. It's only 3 years since COVID. Fuck me. Longer. 2025. Yeah. So yeah, it's one of those where the ghosts that haunt us, that haunt kitchens, that leave memories in buildings long after you leave. I remember during COVID, when the restaurant was closed, this was the first lockdown. And Ireland was the first into lockdown and had the longest. Going into the restaurant and middle of the day, went off in, essentially, and the hollowness of it didn't feel like what it felt like before. It didn't feel the same. It felt hollow and empty, like the ghost that needed feeding. And as that chef in Limerick said to me, they walk past a certain building that is no longer the restaurant they worked in. It's a coffee shop. They can still smell it. They can still smell the original restaurant. The ghost of it lingers. I don't know if it's the same in other industries. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I don't think in a lot of other industries you don't give the same heart and soul, blood, sweat, and tears into it that we do. That passion isn't the same. The lunacy isn't the same. So I do think that's part of it as well. So yeah, let me know what you think. If you enjoy these, give it a like, give it a comment, give it a follow. Would appreciate it. Give me your feedback. Drop your thoughts into the comments below. Let me know what style of this you like. Now I'm hoping to do an interview next week with a very good chef and a friend of mine who is one of the finest chefs I know and an absolute character. So I was talking to him earlier on today, so I'm hoping we can get that done next week. And I have an idea to do one or two. There's a few others. I liked the interview I did with Anthony. Thought it came across well. The feedback was really, really good on it. I'd love your feedback on it. Drop it in the comments down below what you thought. And is there a chef you think I should interview? Or somebody within the industry? And don't give me some lunatic name that, somebody I can get them. Simple as that. Not going to travel to halfway around the world to interview some chef that has never heard of me and wouldn't give me the time of day. Let me know what you think. I'd appreciate your feedback. And all those who have listened so far, really appreciate it. The numbers keep growing all the time. It's fabulous. And whether you're on Spotify or you've now joined me on YouTube, I do appreciate it very, very much so. And thank you. But yeah, give me some feedback. Let me know what you think, good and bad. I don't mind you telling me you don't like certain things. And their topic. You think there's something I've said you fucking disagree with, pop it on. There's something that you agree with. Great. Is there a topic you'd like to have a chat about? And I have no issue with doing, once I figure out how to do it. I've asked a guy who hasn't come back to me yet from the States to do an interview with me. I was just going to do it and record it on a phone, on a WhatsApp or a Messenger or one of these video calls and just record it. So if you think you'd like to sit with me for a half hour, an hour, let me know. Folks, this is Noel from the dark side of the kitchen. Let's keep changing the world, one plate at a time.